Hello, everybody! Welcome back to Lightspeed! Got another fun-filled episode for you.
Yeah.
We ended the last one. We ended the last one on a Family Guy episode, and we're starting this one with a Family Guy episode. So today we got Peter Griffin versus Deadpool. I'm going for Peter Griffin, and I'm going for Deadpool. So which of these referential jokesters can make the better film script using only pop culture references in a month? Do you want to start this? Yeah, I can fucking do it. Peter.
Oh my god.
Peter.
You are such a conjai.
I can fucking do it, man. Alright.
The lamest thing I've ever witnessed.
This is so real for this one.
Alright, so Peter Griffin. First of all, Peter actually has more experience putting together productions like this. In Peterotica, he wrote a series of successful erotic books, proving his writing talent. And in The King is Dead, Peter creates a stage play which includes musical numbers, and it's also a big hit. In this instance, we see Peter creating a fun sci-fi adventure while adapting The King and I. He does completely, make it his own thing, showing some creativity, that raw creativity that Peter's got. He could honestly make this movie into a musical, considering this and his general talent for bursting into larger-than-life musical numbers. Peter is generally a very creative guy. He comes up with a couple of unique toy ideas when he worked for Happy-Go-Lucky Toy Factory. And, he actually showed some pretty some crafty ingenuity. Because he made he made a doll that turned to a fire-breathing lizard or something. It was a transformer device, and he created it himself. So, he's got a lot of creativity in him. In Brian Griffin's House of Pain, he wrote a movie called Bigger Jaws. And it's basically Jaws, but then a bigger Jaws shows up that Jaws has to team up with the humans.
That's just the Meg.
He wrote the Meg! Peter Griffin wrote the Meg!
Max, I don't know.
So, Peter also
Max,
watches...
this debate's looking kind of bad for you.
Peter also watches a lot more TVs than Deadpool, and already spends most of his life making pop culture references. So, he's a lot more in his element when he's being forced to make a movie that's nothing but references. And typically, when Peter does tell a story, it'll just be some scene from a movie, or involve a celebrity or fictional character showing up and doing something. So, that's already most of his joke and sense of humor. And Peter would be able to steal, some plot lines from Star Trek or whatever 80s sitcom you're thinking of and just call it a reference from there. So that's ultimately why I think Peter Griffin's got this one. You're full of shit, Max! Everything you said is fucking wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why. You fucking dumb-ass little bitch! Okay.
You're being so mean to him.
Well, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
okay.
lay off a little bit,
If
man.
you're
This
gonna fight
is
dirty,
PG.
I'll fucking...
Wake it up.
Okay. Deadpool is way smarter than Peter. I don't think I need to tell you that. And while I don't think there's any way to actually make a movie filled with only references genuinely good, Wade should at least come closer to it than Peter. The scenario never states which studio is making these movies, but if Wade is with Disney, he can write a movie within the Marvel Universe, and he can fill the reference quota by just having characters from all around the Marvelverse show up. Now, since Wade has direct experience living in the Marvel Universe, he should have a pretty good grasp on how to write for most of the characters he's met. Deadpool also would take the time to actually have emotional beats in his movie. I know he's generally a jokester, but he also knows when to get deadly serious, and has faced a lot of heartbreak in his life. Peter is not going to care about including any emotional scenes. And if he does, it's just going to be really poorly written. And it's going to have a fucking sad zoom on the characters' faces every time. It's going to be a fucking mess. Also, an important note, in the episode Chick Cancer, Peter actually does try to make his own movie, and all of his friends hate it. And for good reason. He keeps in all of the errors, he has very generic writing, and is just pretty mean to his actors, even though in this instance the actors are his friends and family. Peter's going to make a fucking train wreck. At least Wade can make something worth watching. Oh my god, okay. Yeah? You think that? Okay, hold on. About that fucking,
Brandon,
hold on.
About
that chick
When I said
not allowed to
Brandon was
talk to
the
yourself.
least co-person that I ever met, I was wrong.
You were not about to talk to yourself. Okay.
About that
Jesus
fucking chick
Christ,
cancer
man.
point, you're
What
fucking wrong!
What argument do you genuinely believe? Because I'm thinking Deadpool.
I got
I would agree with you, Brandon. It should be Deadpool because...
I don't want to hear
I don't
other.
know.
I got
Other Max
genuine
better not talk
feeling-
about.
I'm saying that movie, Chick Cancer, Peter's goal Peter's goal of that movie, though, was to replicate a chick flick because it was his current obsession. If he's trying to make this pop culture film, like comedic reference film, he'll be just fine. He's not trying to make a fucking drama.
Okay, but here's the thing. Like, your main point, Max, was about like Deadpool making a bunch of like MCU references with all the characters.
Yeah.
People are fucking sick and tired of MCU movies just playing off the nostalgia from the earlier installments. People are gonna want to go watch another movie that's just full of that.
I got another huge thing I think for Peter.
Yeah.
Which,
Thank you. All right, thank you.
All right, so
Oh god.
so writing things full of pop culture references. It's confirmed that Peter's the one who handles cutaway gags in the actual show.
That's true. Yeah.
He's the one who runs them. He's the one who makes them.
Fucking serious. They're meant to be stupid.
Yeah, they're fucking stupid. They're fucking
Cutaway
nothing.
gags suck, but cutaway gags suck ass.
Yeah, they fucking suck.
Hey,
you want the writer of current
do
Family Guy
Deadpool
in your movie?
montages have millions of views on YouTube?
Okay.
I didn't think
What
so.
about that? What about that?
Exactly.
Yes, of course they do. Why is Deadpool?
Not as many
Deadpool's
as
huge.
Family Guy funny moment number 257.
Probably
Counter
true, yeah.
this-
So there, we'll say, I do
Technically,
agree
while
with
it's
you.
not. Technically, while
I
it's
do-
not a movie, Deadpool tried to write a game, and when he sent to the studios, it completely was rejected, and he had to threaten their lives.
I don't know about that. I don't know about including
That game
Max.
absolutely bombed. That game bombed, and he was the one who wrote it.
We should set some rules, some ground rules. I don't think we should include that.
But Peter hates Peter hates like the likes of The Godfather, but loves like the money bin. His taste in films is like it guarantees his film's gonna be really lowbrow.
I do agree that Deadpool probably have better emotional beats.
I mean, I don't think people are
a lot more serious. Like there was like the one in the comic where he helps someone who was about to like jump off a building.
It's like actually a
with
really
genuine-
powerful comic.
People are not going to go to see a movie that is solely based on pop culture references for the deep emotional
Well, that's
moments.
not like
right?
the
Yeah.
fucking pull of the film. That's just what they were given. They were told to do. The trailers are going to say,
Most people only want to see Wreck-It Ralph the
Any,
Sonic.
any
though.
emotional
Oh, yeah.
moment Deadpool's gonna try to fucking write is gonna be like singing "Killed My Grandma," tears of laughable.
No, it's fucking
will say,
no.
though,
Wayne can
in,
do a
like-
fucking emotional moment.
In like big comedies, if you just have that emotional moment to sucker punch whoever's watching, that actually does tend to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
click,
wanna say
like
with that
click.
comic
Yeah,
too,
can you say tonal whiplash at all?
That's
also
fair.
with the
Peter would
comic,
treat everyone way worse.
Yeah, well, okay, but
The-
Peter's not actually directing it. He's just writing it.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
the serious moments in Deadpool, he's not the one writing them. He's just living them.
Yeah, but he can like translate that into script. Like he's lived through those.
I mean,
adventures.
And Deadpool knows the writers.
Yeah, he knows the right, and he fucking he
Well,
did.
he has
he
the
did
right. No,
ultimately go with his
he
script in
can't
the
get
video
help
game.
from the writers.
No, but he's taught to them.
Well, like he did. They ultimately went. Like he does take his script in the Deadpool video game and goes with it. Like he does his script for that, and it's still like it's not
It
like the
bombed.
game's not great, but like it's better than anything I think Peter can fucking write. Like if you
Most
actually,
of the writing in that
Say-
game is just like riffing on like video game culture, though.
well, yeah, but like
See,
Peter's gonna be just fucking nonsense. Like it's just gonna be a
Yeah,
bunch
but
of fucking. There's not gonna be a plot.
The
It
play that
doesn't need a
the-
plot. It just has to be funny.
Yeah, the play that he
Who do you
wrote
think is
in,
funnier, current
the-
today, Peter or Deadpool?
Definitely
Dep-
Deadpool.
That depends. Are we
Deadpool,
talking
yeah.
about Death Battle Deadpool?
Well, what do you mean from current today,
No.
Peter? What about we can do fucking Prime Peter? What about? Well, you can't fucking just do me like this.
No, but Prime Peter. No, be that.
Brian,
No,
Brian.
I think you lose on that alone, Max.
If you-
I think
if you
Prime
wanna
Peter
look
makes
at
you
the
fucking lose.
If you want to see the nonsense that he wrote, he like completely butchered a play, but making it like full of references
Yeah.
and nonsense, and people loved
Yeah,
it.
he made it
It was
fun.
all-
He made it genuinely
Yeah.
fun.
Well, because the Family Guy universe is fucking stupid.
That's
This is
true.
the real world.
Yeah, this is the real world. I don't think anyone could sit through that play, like realistically.
I have that. Who are you arguing against at this point, Max?
But I'm taking Peter. And I'm taking Deadpool.
Come on,
You are
come on, babe.
so
This
bad,
is
Max.
so cringe. I can't believe it.
Oh,
Pick your fucking side, because I can't choose.
I think
I'm
Deadpool.
voting Wade.
I'm-
I'm voting. I'm
That's
voting
2 for Deadpool.
I'm voting Peter.
That's 1
I
for
also
Peter.
vote
I'm voting.
Peter.
That's 1 for Peter.
I'm voting Deadpool.
That's 1 for
I'm
Peter.
voting for therapy.
Okay.
Go on, Brandon.
Brandon, who you picking?
For Max specifically.
Yeah.
Am I siding with?
Yeah, who you siding
Yeah.
with?
Yeah.
Deadpool.
All right, Deadpool wins.
No.
Yeah!
Sorry,
Fuck yeah!
You'll get him next time, Buck.
Look at this guy. He is in
I'll get a,
movies.
I'll get a fucking Peter win eventually.
Yeah,
I'll get a Peter win.
You just got Stewie win.
I want a Peter win.
You didn't get a Stewie win. You got a Yoshi.
Okay, to be fair, that's Stewie win. I fumbled really hard on that one, so.
Yeah, that was a free. That should have been a free Yoshi win.
Yeah,
Adam.
Like they did not say stats equalized, so.
What is it? All right, we're doing this one next. Fucking. Is it? Oh,
nah.
Thieves.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'd like to move that back again.
Right. Okay. Scenario: Scrooge McDuck has made a lot of enemies over the years, but it has reached a boiling point. 4 of his greatest rivals have independently hired the greatest thieves available to try and ransack McDuck of all his riches, while facing the security system as their target as well as each other, which will while facing the which will be a more successful thief. We got Lupin the Third, Sly Cooper, Henry Stickmin, and Wario.
All
I heard
right.
the pain in your voice when you said Henry Stickmin.
Who's all going for who? I know Ribbit's going for Lupin.
I'm Sly.
Yeah, I'm going for Lupin.
I'm going for Wario.
Okay,
I'm
going
going
for
for Henry Stickmin.
that means Ribbit goes first.
All right. So, Lupin is by far the most intelligent here and the most experienced. Yep. You know, Mario is a huge franchise, but there's a big difference between fighting Bowser and, driving around in go-karts and sneaking into high-tech buildings. They're two very different things. This is Lupin's whole shtick across the over 300 episodes, 40 movies, 20 video games, and several manga series. You think that Scrooge has anything that Lupin has never dealt with before. Sly's pretty much a weaker version of Lupin here. He's way less experienced and has nowhere near as many gadgets. He has a couple of cool time slowdown abilities, and the Thievius Raccoonus definitely does have a lot of tools of the trade to help Sly along. But Lupin is his own book. He already has mastered this and then some. He doesn't need a book. He already has this perfected. Meanwhile, Henry, no doubt, has most stuff to work with here, but a majority of it is fucking shit. It doesn't work. Lupin has teleported in a cartoony manner on his own. Meanwhile, Henry's teleporter mostly teleports him into the wrong places, like walls or into shooting zones. Henry can increase in speed with sonic shoes? Oh, well, yeah, but he'll instantly run into a wall and fucking die. He definitely wins. Yeah, okay. One could say that he could learn from these mistakes if we're saying that the resets are canon. Let's say that they are. But really, if he does all of this in one smooth run, good job. He's doing exactly what Lupin is going to be doing. Meanwhile, Henry lost 2 gunmen while earthbending, and Lupin beat an army of ninjas while blinded. He can notice details that even Goemon couldn't pick up on, whose eyesight is great enough to slice a shooting star all the way from Earth. And he just has a way better track record. Let me put it this way. If Lupin was put in the Henry Stickmin games, I don't think he'd need any of the resets. The people he goes against are nowhere near as smart. Mamo is infinitely smarter than any of the main villains in the Henry Stickmin games. The only reason Henry escaped the complex in one ending is because the owner was too stupid to look over the cliff he fell off properly, and in another, a truck just happened to hit him. In canon, he literally just made a face at the big bad and won through sheer luck in that game. Capping off is Wario, who is the most physically imposing here, but is the overall dumbest. He'll probably go in guns a-blazing compared to everyone else, which will take attention off of the others and make their jobs way easier. His big, hilarious, stinky farts may knock people out, but Lupin has knockout gas too, and also usually has nose plugs in, which means he'll be able to resist Wario's farts if he encounters them. If he encounters Scrooge or any of the others, he could also use his device that erases a person's present memory and leaves them frozen for a while. And if he struggles to win, much like Henry, he could also just use his time machine to redo it all. So yeah, I think that Lupin is by far the most well-rounded here, is the most skilled in the widest number of areas, and has the least room for error.
Nice.
Okay.
Sly Cooper.
Alright.
Yeah, okay, I really got to start writing these in advance too, but I'm still prepared. I've been thinking about this. Okay.
right.
So first of all, I will not doubt Lupin. He probably is the smartest of these guys, but I don't think Sly is that far behind him by a long shot. In fact, out of these four, in terms of general thievery, I'd say you could argue he's the most experienced. Like, sure, he only had like 4 games as opposed to like, I think, well over 30, or like having a whole long manga and anime. But Sly, okay, so what are the Sly games? They are infiltrating these super wealthy people and basically just stealing their shit. And they're all also cartoon animals. So, like, on the get-go, Sly is literally designed for something like this. This is basically what he already does on a regular basis. And in terms of his gadgetry, like, yeah, again, I don't doubt Lupin, he has more to work with, but really underselling some of Sly's shit, like, oh yeah, he can only slow down time. Yeah, that's no big deal at all. That's not going to come into play. But yeah, like Sly, he can like slow down or speed up his perception of time if needed. He has smoke bombs. He has decoys he can set up to like lure enemies or whatever other obstacles. Just a lot of shit. He has binoculars he can use to get a greater. He can use to scout out his area better. And keep in mind, again, in the 4th game, Sly was also doing this shit through, pardon my French, through a bunch of different time periods. Like from Western era, prehistory, the medieval era, and he was fighting alongside his own ancestors, gaining new knowledge and techniques from them as well. So, yeah, I think Sly definitely has the most history to pull from and the most useful techniques to work with here. Now, I already touched upon why I think Lupin will fall behind, but as for the other two, Wario, I do agree, he's probably just going to try to brute force his way through everything, and I definitely think he can, but if the goal here is to be sneaky, then yeah, that's obviously not going to work out very well in his favor. Plus, I also do agree, as much as I love the guy, he is easily the stupidest one here. Like, he has gotten duped pretty easily before, or just suckered in by his own greed. So I totally see him getting distracted by all the wealth that Scrooge has and trying to just steal it for himself or swim in his gold. And Henry, the main sticking point with him is that I don't know how we're approaching the whole repeats and extra try thing, because that's kind of his whole shtick. So if we're not accounting for that, then basically it's just a 50-50 chance. And if he chooses wrong, then he's basically out. Also, yeah, I think he easily has the worst luck here, generally speaking, because, again, it's all about just whether or not he makes the right choice. So yeah, those are my general points for Sly.
All right.
Onto you, GA.
Let's hear the Henry Stickmin argument.
All right, yeah, sorry.
It's Henry's time.
All right. So Henry Stickmin, a master thief. And if you play the first 2 games, yeah, you're going to get the impression that he's just some lucky idiot, or idiot with pendulum luck, kind of pendulum luck, pretty much good and bad at times. But the 5th game very much changed, or the later games very much show that he absolutely is now an actual skilled thief. His wins do not just come from sheer luck. Yes, there is the time, like in the Escaping the Complex, that he just made a face and it happened to work out for him. But frankly, you say that like that's a disadvantage. Like, luck is not just going to randomly save him at times. Now, I think it's pretty clear that Henry by far has the biggest arsenal. The biggest thing that you can use against it is the fact that some of it can end up not working. But in a lot of these situations, especially the later ones, it tends to be just either his pendulum luck, yeah, sometimes it does kind of mess up on him, or he has a different item which could could be a replacement for such things. Like, example, the super speed shoes. Yeah, he doesn't need that. He can just naturally use quick attack, like shown in the train robbery, where they started shooting a machine gun, and he used quick attack, and that made him much faster. Henry just has too big of an arsenal and too many options to turn to. And then, of course, the resets. Now, I've heard, you can argue that the resets themselves are not initially canon, but the game very much does acknowledge this. He's gotten mad at the teleporter for killing him so much that he smashed that at one point, and his luck ended up working out and teleported him right into the room where he needed to go. And as well, even if you don't believe that, he actually has a save and load that he uses in-game. That is the actual option in the game. So he does absolutely have it. Now, yes, like there's Lupin's like time machine where he could go back. Lupin's time machine where he could go back and actually try again, but his is not initially connected to him. If Henry just killed Lupin, then yeah, Lupin's dead. If they kill Henry, Henry's just coming back anyways because his is active upon his own death. So I think just with way too much of an arsenal, luck does generally save him at the worst of times. And with these resets to account for any kind of failure that could end up working for him, plus his initial extreme skill, he's sneaking into highly guarded, like the Top Hat's entire rocket ship. He stole everything in it, and there was billions of dollars worth of money in there. He had a vacuum, sucked everything inside. That'd be perfect for robbing McDuck's gold area. He could easily rob McDuck blind with the right arsenal. So even if he fails the first time, he'll try a few times. Maybe he'll have to off Lupin or Wario or Sly. But I think he's just too unstoppable of a force.
Lupin. Okay.
Sorry.
Let's do that Wario debate.
All right, it's a time of Wario.
You pick Wario.
I pick Wario. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to focus on Wario's advantages before turning to how he would either make things harder for the other people competing with him, or just how their advantages don't really stack up to his. So, yes, I do agree that Wario would probably go for the most straightforward strategy in terms of getting into the money bin. But the thing about that is that's actually kind of an advantage for him, because if you look at the money bin, it tends to just be like the front entrance and then like windows on the topmost floor. So the other three are probably going to try to sneak in through the top floor, which is like more of Scrooge's personal living quarters. Whereas if Wario just goes in like through the front entrance, he basically just has to shoulder bash through two walls and he's into the money bin already. And at that point, the money is just going to start spilling out through the front entrance, and Wario can just gather it up while everyone else is stuck on the top floor, dealing with Scrooge's many different security measures. Also, Wario doesn't necessarily have to go for the brute force option, because if you look at the blueprints for the money bin, the first thing that any person entering from the ground floor would come into is a guard post. And Wario could just easily use his hypnosis ability to lull that guard under his control and get him to give him the blueprints for the money bin, assuming that none of them have like prior knowledge of its layout from the scenario. It wasn't really laid out, but if that is the case, then Wario knows exactly what he's going to have to deal with and what the proper path would be to like get to the most treasure as quickly as possible before all the other stealthier people could get in. And even if for some reason he doesn't choose to do that, he could just as easily like stick an air pump in his stomach, like pump himself up to the size of Godzilla, pick up the money bin, and just run away with it. Like, he's easily strong enough to do that because he's canonically stronger than Mario, who can pick up and kick a fucking castle like it's a fucking beach ball at a rave. And like there's nothing that the others could really do to stop that aside from like their resetting stuff. And there's nothing stopping Wario from just dropping a big stinky nuke of a brap to just vaporize all three of them. And like,
I hate you.
Are you trying to win us over?
Yeah,
yes.
Against you.
I'm only halfway through.
Never
Okay,
cook
so
again.
You can't say it wouldn't work. Okay, so now we got. I gotta be honest. I really think that this is a two-character debate between Henry and Wario. Lupin and Sly are just too grounded in the things they can do. Even with Lupin's time machine, it's only really gonna delay how much he can do before he's just overwhelmed by Henry and Wario's options. And the thing about Henry's options is that he very rarely ever uses the same items from his adventures twice. It's only the ones that have certain running gags to them, like the teleporter or the distraction dance, that he'll use more than once. And even then, the vast majority of his arsenal has consistently failed him more than it has actually served him. Even when it comes to the save states that Butter mentioned, the only time he used those in completing the mission was to either no effect when he was facing the satellite laser, or it just reset him to where he was getting shot off the fucking bridge on the airship by Ellie. So he's never actually used those properly to where it would benefit him in any kind of scenario. So my point is, I think Wario's just also, Wario's more direct approaches would just serve him to get it more quickly and more efficiently than everyone else, where they'd have to be kind of sneaking around and getting through all of the security. And this isn't really a point that I'm going to try to seriously make, but just as an ending thing, the vast majority of Scrooge's money bin is filled to the brim with gold coins. What exactly happens to gold coins when they come into contact with Mario characters? That's right. They get turned into extra lives and get absorbed. So you can just walk into the money bin, let it rain on him, and walk away with all the money.
So many
One
lives.
thing I'm taking issue
This
with.
is not Henry versus Wario. What
was
the
the thing.
shit are you talking about?
I actually don't think Lupin is grounded at all. Ollie, could you remind me, because it's been a while since I watched the multiverse match. What has Lupin stolen? Didn't he steal the pyramids?
Lupin stole the Statue of fucking Liberty.
That's some Carmen
He could
Sandiego shit.
He could steal Scrooge's money bin.
Which is probably what you want to do, not just break it open and have it spill all over you.
That's better than anything Henry's stolen.
I'm gonna bring this up. So, how I'm sure that Wario has other methods, but does Sly have any method to actually take all that gold in one go?
Adam.
Does he? Oh.
Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, boy, he brings in Bentley and Marie. They come helping in. They start loading some fucking gold.
Bentley, the inventor, he could totally whip something
No, it
up.
says that they aren't allowed to get help from their other compatriots.
The fuck?
Get.
Wait.
Yeah,
what?
I know.
Why the
I
fuck
know. I thought it was
balls
stupid
like
too.
this?
wait,
Yeah, no, I thought it was
why would
stupid
he not
too.
bring
Not gonna do
Goemon
this
or
part.
A G-game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Goemon. I wrote Goemon into my debate, and then I read it again. I was like, oh shit, right? Okay, I guess not.
So
Yeah.
I would know that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna guess Lupin did not steal the pyramids and Statue of Liberty on his
Yes,
own.
he
It
did.
was-
Yes,
How
he
did
did.
he do
What
it?
the
I would
fuck?
like to know
yeah.
that.
With
I
the
got-
Sorry.
How did he
does he
steal
have,
those things?
Yeah.
I'm not versed on Lupin, so I would actually like to know.
Giant balloons, building machinery underneath it and rolling it away, stuff like that.
I think.
Okay, so
I think,
you-
like, this
so-
thing is-
Does it
this could be,
specify that we? Does it specify they get time to prepare? Because that sounds like
Yes,
quite a
yes.
bit.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're hired
Yes.
for it, so I assume
They
they have time
did
to
just
prepare
fucking
for
run
coming
in.
in.
There is less time actually spent capturing the money, though.
Yeah.
This is true, yeah. In the time it takes him to set that stuff up, Wario just walks
That
up,
is-
gets big, and
that-
picks it up and walks away.
That's actually
As well,
something that I
Henry
would
has
give to
hammer
Henry and Wario, because they are actually just more likely to just go right off the bat as opposed to
Yeah,
actually
Henry's
trying
the
to
only
prepare.
other person here I could see actually just busting in through the front door.
It's because
Okay.
He literally does do that.
He's
Okay,
essentially-
remember who they're stealing from though. Wario going giant. Scrooge has fought giant kaiju type people before, and Scrooge could just touch him and turn him into stone.
If there's a giant outside his manor, that's the first thing he's gonna take care of.
Scrooge is going to be fighting Wario. The other three are going to be able to get in way easier.
Yeah.
Like I said.
And I think Henry just has like I said, this is a specific one I think that would work the best, which is the vacuum, where he went into a rocket filled with billions. There was
What, was it
there
dollars
was
or gold?
There was gold in it too. There was gold. There was cars. It was all of the top hats years of stealing stuff in that one place, and it all sucked up into one vacuum.
He's gonna have to be doing it for a while. It's a lot of shit.
He did.
It didn't.
No.
It didn't really take that long.
No, it took like a few.
That was that
I would
guy's
argue
treasure.
that the treasure room inside of the Top Hat rocket was way smaller than the money bin in its entirety.
The money bin is so huge.
And I would also note, like as a smaller point, Scrooge has an entire floor in his money bin that is like dedicated to being filled with precious gemstones, and we know that Henry has a history of being specifically attracted to those rather than like larger sources of like other wealth like gold piles.
I mean, if he's trying to steal from it, there's no reason he wouldn't take it all if he's
yeah,
there.
but the more time he spends on that floor, like it's individual rooms for each kind of different gemstone. He's gonna have to like go through each of those individually, and that's less time getting like to all of the stuff in the money.
Also, what Adam said, literally every single thing besides the time stop that he mentioned about Sly, Lupin has. Like he has a high tech portable
I'm
computer.
gonna say everything that everyone has.
I will say
he has a high tech computer that will instantly tell him the entire layout of McDuck Manor.
I think Lupin generally being the smartest
Wario
one
has
here.
that. Wario could just hypnotizes the guard and gets the blueprints from that. Same
I want to
difference.
say,
that's longer. That's a more roundabout way. Lupin can do it from miles away and plan from there.
I know this is the lame game, but you know what? So, like, do they have a way to just because Henry cannot be if Lupin's time machine only works if he's still alive. So if where Henry's resets are just initially on his own death. Even to the point where him being erased.
Well, yes, but he's still going to be trial and erroring his way through the whole thing.
Yes, but who
all
are
by the same hitman? Why are they going to kill each other? They're all trying to like. It's like a mini competition.
They're being hired by individually separate people, so they're competing.
Okay,
Not to mention,
okay.
Henry would absolutely go rogue. He's gone rogue on people he's worked before with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my initial thing is like,
probably would too.
I imagine at the end of this, Lupin would
Wario would stay dedicated to the cause because like he's getting paid by the person hiring him as well as whatever he steels from the money bin.
I think everyone's just going rogue.
Yeah,
Not
they're
gonna
all
lie.
like
Sly's not
not
sticking with
these guys are not.
My
whoever
initial-
hired him, I guarantee
my
you.
initial thing
like,
is-
even if they all was supposed to work together, I feel like this would end up just being a competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
What
I
I
will
think
say
is
I
like important
definitely-
to mention though is that Lupin is still the smartest one and would think of the strategy to not even interact with these assholes and just get the goal while they're fucking
I
fighting
mean,
each other.
if Wario gets big and just drops a nuke on all of them,
then it resets, and then they have to do it
Oh
again.
my
It
God.
doesn't
Then it
reset for
blows-
the other two, and at
then
that
it-
point,
then it
it's
blows
just-
up the money
it's just
bin.
Wario versus Henry.
And also, when Henry
technically,
when Henry resets, it brings everyone back to life with him.
Yes, but my initial thing is like, yes, it's trial and error, but that just means he's going to have to either kill them all, and eventually he could, because even if you say that, like,
Lupin just
you know,
needs
he's
to
not able
kill
to.
Henry
No,
and fuck off.
I'm
No,
not gonna lie. If Lupin just filled the place with knockout gas, which is what he usually does, what would the others do?
Yeah, and he's the
Henry
only one
has,
smart
like,
enough to
natural
fucking do that
suits on.
first.
Yeah.
Henry does have like natural stuff on him that could resist, or he has,
But
like,
he
a
wouldn't
space-
be able to. He wouldn't be able to like know about it. Yeah, he doesn't always
subtle.
have it.
Well,
in.
it's subtle.
Wario could just put on.
he
he could
got-
just put on his cosmic disguise from Master of Disguise, and that has like a space suit helmet on it. That would.
That's
fire
fair.
gas.
That's fair, but I don't think Wario is my big threat here. It's Henry.
Well, also,
I don't think
Henry,
Lupin
like,
is
Henry
Wario's
just
big
gets
threat
knocked
here
into
either. I think it's Henry.
No, Henry
Henry's
just like
everyone's big threat, basically.
What is Butter trying to
Pretty
say?
much.
Yeah, let Butter speak.
Sorry.
Henry does just have a natural suit on him because when he gets thrown into space, he just taps his chest and then immediately had a metal suit on. Also, he can be a cyborg in one of the endings, which
Can
he
be. That would require outside help, I would
Yeah,
feel.
that one. If there's not a lot of help, I don't think he's getting there.
Well, it depends.
It's like
It
he
depends what
was
timeline.
specifically
No.
dead after the betrayed
Yeah,
ending.
yeah,
he had to be
Henry
like
did.
fished out of the ocean.
If he's gonna put on like
Wait,
the
wait,
spacesuit,
wait.
doesn't he have to know that it's knockout gas? Wouldn't he like sniff it once and then fucking pass out immediately before he even knows that it's knockout gas?
I mean, if like
That's how knockout
unless
gas
the,
works.
That's how it
unless
goes
the-
down.
unless the room immediately fills and it's that potent, I could definitely see Henry just spotting it.
The
and then,
money bin is huge. It has like 13 different floors. It's going to take a while for it to filter all the way down.
No, what I think is going to happen is that Lupin is going to pretty much instantly fill it with knockout gas. Scrooge is going to be knocked out, and then the others are going to arrive and get knocked out.
So if he does that, then Wario has nothing to worry about if he just gets big and picks it up and carries it away. Scrooge can't turn him to stone then.
Wait, he knows that it's knockout gases in there?
Yeah, well, would that be?
Well,
Would that really be
okay.
Wario's very first
He would
choice?
go bursting in there and then fucking pass
I
out.
feel like Wario would just bash to the wall and
I
then
may say my
immediately
piece
pass
on
out.
this. I've been a little quiet. I think like if the scenario was just getting the money bin, Scrooge not imposed, I would probably give it to Wario. The thing is, what you're arguing is from an auxiliary piece of media, which is from the Mario Bros. Comic book where he grows giant. But also, I just think like being stealthier is generally what you're going to want to do just because Scrooge is so protective of his money bin. Not just Scrooge, but Donald, the nephews, etc. It's not just one person he's got to worry about.
They've even got a fucking god living there. Fucking the fucking what's his name? It's not Sporticus. What's his fucking name? the one who's really chummy with the one who's really chummy with Donald and like ruins his dates.
it's
and
like
shit.
Hercules.
Hercules.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Hercules.
he'd come along and beat the shit out of
Like,
Wario. He's full
Wario's
of
attack is
How
gonna
strong
get
is he?
It's way stronger than Scrooge.
Also, like,
I mean,
Okay,
That's
Wario's way stronger than Scrooge. That doesn't mean anything.
Wario has
As a natural-
equalized
I think-
Scrooge.
Yeah, I think we're naturally assuming Scrooge could fight each of these characters in this scenario.
And if there's a guy stronger than Scrooge who's just like a god, the god should beat the guy who we're comparing to Scrooge, which would be Wario.
And even if Wario
I-
could stalemate him, I feel like at
guess.
that point, that would just be
I'd
distracting
like
the
to
god
point
for
out
the other
that Sly
three.
Cooper has not been mentioned in a breath of this research. I'm
Sorry.
sorry,
Yeah,
I'm so
I will say
sorry.
He really
I
doesn't
definitely
have a
underestimated
line here.
Lupin, but at
Yeah,
bare
good
minimum,
thing.
this is a 3-character debate.
I'm sorry, but
Uh,
I don't think Sly even has a
Okay,
method
well,
to
I'm-
steal the gold.
all right, well, I'm gonna side with Team Wario in that case for a bit. So
I
You
just don't see
mentioned
how
one of-
What a surprise!
I just don't
mentioned-
see like trial
See,
like the issue is you're saying like it's going to be trial and error, but what stops that trial and error? Because that's how Henry wins is trial and error.
Okay,
So like they
but
can't stop his resets at all. They have
No,
no
the-
method to do
but
it.
his resets should not affect other people around him. Like I know they behave that way in the game, but that's just because it resets to the certain scenarios. Like Henry constantly coming back to life would realistically not be affecting the other people in play here.
GA
Yeah,
did
that-
make a very good point that Henry very rarely uses the things he's used more.
Yeah,
than
and like
Yes,
like
but
75% of all the stuff he uses in any scenario backfires on him immediately.
It's very
Yes,
true.
but-
You say he's really skilled by the end, but the game mechanic of most of these things fail except one is still there till the very end.
yeah, but
It's not like every option suddenly becomes fucking fantastic at the
yeah,
end.
If
but-
every fail is
that seems
supposed
to-
to be canon, then there's no scenario in Henry's own story where he like gets a clean run of any of the games. Like he's supposed
Yes,
to
but
fail at least a few times in each one.
It's just blatantly confirmed that every single ending in Henry Stickmin is canon. Every single
But he's
fail,
a total
everything is
fuck-up.
done.
Yeah.
yes, no,
Screwing up
no,
until he
yes.
failing his way upward is Henry's whole thing.
Yes, but that's the thing. They don't have a way to stop that. And no, his
doesn't-
resets do.
They don't need a
his
way
re-
to stop it. They just need to be able to get
No,
their job done
no.
before he can.
No,
He's gonna
but-
stop
no,
himself.
No, but his initial. You're saying that if wouldn't affect the world. That's just not true because there are deaths where like he's running down the hall where he's shot at. He dies, it resets, and then he's running down that hall and they're shooting at him again.
Let's say
I'm
he got
gonna be the
everything
one
perfect
that-
in his Super Swift.
Oh.
Lupin would do that anyway.
Yeah, he's already gonna do it naturally.
And-
I'm gonna be the
and
one
he's
to
way more
say,
experienced.
We should bring this to a vote now. This
Yeah.
needs to be a vote.
Yeah,
now.
this is going on a while.
My
Okay.
vote is going for Lupin.
My vote is also on Lupin, with like Wario's close second.
Okay, Biffweed, where you vote?
I'm thinking Henry.
Okay, it's Henry for Biffweed.
One for Henry.
I guess you
I
guys
think-
debate.
the last
You
one to
can't
vote.
debate for your own character.
I guess, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Sly gets
yeah.
I think Sly gets
I'm
I think
voting-
Sly gets
Well, I'm
last.
voting for
Wario
Wario,
gets
but I
third.
think
Lupin
point.
gets second. I think Henry
Okay, I already
wins.
just done.
So that's 2 Henry, 2
So-
Lupin.
That's a tie for Henry
Yeah.
and Lupin then.
Shit. Maybe we should maybe we should have a GGM with the two of them then.
Maybe we
I guess
should. Maybe
between
we
GA
should,
and-
Rivet.
I know Adam is saying Wario. I guess no, but I guess
Yeah.
between the
Oh,
Wario debater and the Henry. No, sorry, between the Wario debater and the Sly debater. What do you think between Lupin and Henry specifically?
I mean, I'm just more familiar with all the stuff Henry has, so I'm inclined to say him. But like the stuff Ribbit brought up for Lupin definitely surprised me. So I probably wouldn't know, but I would go with Henry.
Adam, what are you saying?
Well,
Adam,
okay, I just I
you
don't know
say
if this is
Lupin.
No, you form your own thoughts, Adam.
You mentioned this
Hey, oh,
point.
man, Adam.
Okay, thank you. So it was brought up that if Wario grows big, Scrooge is just going to turn him to stone, but I'm not 100% sure if that's actually going to work on him.
This is not about
can't
Wario.
vote for
You're
Wario!
actually outvoted. It's between Henry and Lupin.
What?
You got to vote between those two.
We're trying to sell this
As much as I
tiebreaker.
still feel like Wario has a good chance, he's not in the running anymore.
Even when I'm not voting for my character, I'm losing. Okay, fine. I vote Henry.
I appreciate the thought, Adam. I appreciate it.
Okay. Henry Stickmin wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That little fucking
I'll say-
monster.
I'll say-
I debated my little heart out. I knew
You
from
really did,
square
Ollie.
one. I knew from square one. So many people were rooting for my downfall,
It
but
should have been yours. Rivet.
Second is
It should have
okay.
been yours.
second is okay.
I think
If
Henry
it's-
just
if
distraction dances everybody and steals everything.
I suppose some of y'all feel like you were robbed.
Hey,
I do. I still think Henry and Lupin should be in a GGM together because I'm still incredibly confident he should have beat Henry.
If I
If it's
hadn't
any
said Brap, I
constellation,
think
I have-
this would have been better.
I have not been convinced.
If it's any
Welcome to my
consolation,
world.
Ribbit, I definitely do think that Lupin's just like Henry is incompetent. It's that reset play lame. It was a lame win. It was a very lame win.
Method of thinking.
That's the thing. If they had one chance each, I'm so fucking confident in Lupin.
Oh, yeah, if they had one chance, and I'd agree that sorry. Yeah, I'd agree that Henry would lose.
Speaking
Lupin
of
would win that.
Kazia versus Triborg.
Yeah, speaking of
Yeah.
that,
Kazia versus Triborg.
Oh, yeah.
The classic.
Okay, the scenario. The year is 1990X. After overthrowing his father and taking over the Mishima Zaibatsu, Kazuma Mishima carries out his plans to begin ruling the world. To enact this, he visits China to come in contact with the Grand Master of Lin Kuei, thanks to their announcement of the Cyber Initiative forming. Kazia comes in contact with the Grand Master and asks him about allying with the Zaibatsu in order to carry out his plans, as his boxing kangaroos and raptors didn't seem to work out. As the Grand Master accepts his plans, he begins lending him his various cybernetic models, or Triborgs, used to test cyberization on those indoctrinated. However, as Kazia begins using them for his armies, some of them begin going haywire and fighting back, saying that the Zaibatsu ideals are heresy against the Cyber Initiative Code. Can Kazia face them all and have them follow him, or will the Triborgs rise up and take his place? Who's going for who in this one?
I'm
I'm
voting
voting for
Kazia.
Okay, alright, so Kazia goes first.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that this entire scenario is just extremely free for Kazia. Because, for one thing, the scenario outlines that only some of the Triborgs are, like, rebelling against him and going rogue. He would realistically still have the rest of them that he bought from the Cyberlin Quay under his command, and he can, like, send those off to a lab somewhere where he can have them, like, studied and have their capabilities tested to figure out, like, what they can do and how he can work around that. And the reason that he would easily be able to do that is that not only does he have control of the Mishima Zaibatsu in this scenario, but if this is taking place after the events of Tekken 7, he should realistically also have the forces of the G Corporation under his command. And those are two, like, giant global corporations that, like, between them have, like, the armed forces, like, that would number easily able to, like, conduct a giant war, which I think is basically what Kazia was trying to do at the end of that game. Like, after the events of everything, he was, like, getting ready to take over the world. So he would have all of those forces at his command to throw at the Triborgs while he just, like, flies away and figures out what he would need to do to take them down. And another thing that he could easily do is like he could just easily reach out to the Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei and be like, hey, these products that you sold me are trying to overthrow me. What the fuck is going on? Do I need to come over there and get you to help me with this, or are you going to follow me and do what I need you to do to fix this problem? And like the Lin Kuei are skilled. I won't front on that. But they're not going to be able to stand up to the might of two giant global corporations, as well as this fucking kung fu master with the power of the devil gene behind him. And like that's not even coming into like how it would be if Kazia just tried to fight the Triborgs himself, because oh no, Triborg is this super skilled kung fu robot with all these cool powers. I wonder if Kazia has ever had to fight against a group of robots before. Play this clip right now. and like that's another thing. The Jack units were specifically made at one point to take down Kazia. Like they were built to defeat him, and he could just easily shred them with one punch. And I don't see any reason that he wouldn't be able to do exactly the same thing to Triborg. So yeah, I just don't think Triborg really has many options to like stand up to the sheer might that Kazia is commanding in this scenario.
Come on, Biff. Go
Right.
show my boy Triborg.
Got it.
All right, so yeah, Kazia can tear through swarms of Jack units that were made to take him down. Because as we all know, if something is built for an express purpose, that always means every time it will succeed at that purpose. Like it is always exactly, it always has the exact capability of doing the thing it's intended to do. Nothing's ever made faulty. But yeah, the Jack units are like the jobbers of the Tekken universe. I know that much. So Kazia tearing through swarms of them, not especially impressive. I'll be completely honest. Compared to Triborg's, where like I'm assuming this is a stats equalized thing. Otherwise, I would just fold right now. But if they were like physically on par with Kazia, I don't see him tearing them apart with one punch. And compared to Kazia, they just have much more expansive arsenals to work with, because Triborg, despite what the name says, is 4 robots in one. It is Sector, Cyrax, Smoke, and Cyber Sub-Zero, all of which are highly skilled martial artists in their own right, who've been training all their lives. So they have 4 lifetimes worth of experience to work with, as well as many lethal weapons ranging from pulse blades, the green net things, I forgot what they were called, bombs, missiles. They can all teleport, freeze Kazia solid, or Sector's flamethrowers reach 3,000 degrees. Now, they never specify what unit of measurement or what unit of temperature this is, but like the whole thing with the Mishima family is the thing throwing in the volcano, and neither lava or magma reaches 3,000 degrees Celsius. So yeah, Sector sweep. But also, like the win con for Kazia here is to annihilate all of the Triborgs that rebel against them, whereas they just have to take out Kazia. Even if they get taken out after the fact, if they kill Kazia, they win. I'm assuming the scenario doesn't really specify. But like, even if the armies and such take them out afterwards, like they can teleport, they can get to him, and also like they show between rounds to be capable of splitting up into splitting each robot into their own different body at will. So they each Triborg then becomes at bare minimum 3 opponents. They've never really shown Cyber Sub-Zero to be his own thing, because that's kind of just like a hidden unlockable thing. And sure, you could argue, oh, he doesn't do that in the story, but that's because Triborg isn't in the story. Like, he is exclusively in gameplay. And yep, that's about it. I really just have to argue numbers and arsenal and stats equalize, and that's what I got.
Alright.
Wait, does Triborg have a smoke?
Yeah, smoke? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, it's
so
cooler than fucking missiles.
just
Fucking
immediately
laser
going
beam.
for like the numbers and like arsenal thing. I literally laid out how Kazia has like 2 global corporations with entire armies of trained soldiers under his command. Like a bunch of Triborg splitting up into 4 is not going to rival that number in any way. And as for the arsenal, the power of the Devil Gene allows Kazia to use telekinesis against his opponents. So anything the Triborgs like try to shoot at him, he can just easily turn it around back at them.
On
And
more
as
than
for-
one at once.
Yeah, like, and even then, he could just like fly into the atmosphere and just spam devil lasers down at them. And like, I don't think I've ever seen like teleporting in Mortal Kombat be able to reach anything like to that distance.
Okay.
Is that something Kazuya would reasonably do? Like, would
I don't
he
see why
fly
he
beyond?
would.
Yes. Every single Kazuya player just spams laser. That is absolutely
Yeah.
Okay,
something
but-
Kazuya will do.
Okay, but so like you is it agreed that like if they die, even if they die and they kill him, it's an initial win?
But
I mean, I
yeah,
guess, but I
Kazuya-
don't see how that would even be something that
Oh,
would
this.
ever happen.
One of the
Yes.
many fatalities they can do.
This.
One of that's the old timeline. Triborg is exclusively new timeline, so we can't use that.
Yeah, get Nade butter.
Dang it. I
but,
tried this.
Like one of
What?
like
Blows
one-
up the planet? What?
yeah,
Yep,
that's
Dad.
the thing in Mortal Kombat 3. Sector and Cyrex's self-destruct can do it, and Smoke can just do it normally with his bombs. Fucking Smoke fatality. Yeah.
But Kazia would realistically not even stay close enough to let them get the chance, because as soon as they like turn around and say, "Oh, what you're doing to us is heresy. We're gonna overthrow you," he just flies away to the top of the Mishima Zaibatsu building and just fucking plans to take them out with his army or research them or just fucking like spam lasers at them from afar.
Right. What
I
is
mean, what do
stopping
you-
100? Oh, sorry.
This fight shows that like this fight of him fighting robots, I think, is a good example of what he would actually do, given he's fighting robots.
What is stopping like 100 teleporting robots from jumping him at once, holding him down, and letting one of the others?
If he
land the
flies into the
fatality on him?
sky, can they reach him with that teleporting?
Right, well, if
I
you
don't
consider
know
that
they
maybe it'll
cannot.
fucking fold, of course Triborg's not going to take on 2 entire armies. Are you for
Even
real?
if they like try to just grab him, he just
Gee,
blasts
I'm
a
agreeing
laser
with
straight
you.
through most of them.
With his golden ring.
She's not able to
You can't blast the laser through them because stats are equalized, so it would just only hit one.
He just fucking wins. Of course, Triborg's not going to be 2 entire armies. Are you insane?
I'm mad respect you right now, Biff.
Yeah,
Have you considered that I would fucking fold?
Biff, right now, I am Kirishima reaching out to handshake you as Tetsu Tetsu after the
I'll
sports
shake
festival
your
fight.
hand so hard.
I'm sorry you lost, Biff. I tried
I'm
to
not.
help.
I like Triborg, but also who gives a shit?
All the Triborg kinnies out there.
Triborg's such a cool concept. I can't wait for them to do
God, I
nothing
wish
with it.
we could have just ended it off with the smoke victory. That would have been so funny.
Like, Triborg is just not in the story. He has no accomplishments to go off. Like he is, like he takes Sector and Cyrex's corpse and combines them into himself.
So I think we have it. Do you guys ready for one last one here?
Yep.
Yeah.
We can squeeze it in.
All right, Spider-Punk versus Sonic Underground as the
Hell yeah.
final one today. So
Love the art. Love the
Yes!
the fan art.
yeah, they both look great. This is fucking awesome. All right, so the people behind Schoolhouse Rock caught wind that these two cool musical dudes are commissioned them for a new season of Schoolhouse Rock, all based around fighting for independence. Let's just call this season Freedom Rock. They have a couple of weeks to produce a song based on their own freedom fighting adventures. Which between these two could rock this way, and who will fall off the charts? So Spider-Punk goes first, and Brandon, you're going for Spider-Punk?
Hell yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm not debating for him. Oh, what the fuck is the quote? I'm gonna debate for him, but not because you told me to. So, in Earth 138, the Spider-Man of this universe is Hobart Hobie Brown. He basically was born in the slums his entire life. And he lives in a world that is completely corrupted by government officials, and Oscorp basically rules the entire world as a global conglomerate. So much so that Norman Osborn empowered the whole police force with the Venom symbiote. So Hobie when he gets bitten by the radioactive spider, his first thing to do is to dismantle the establishment. So in terms of just experience, experiences that he can bring to the songs he's got to do for Freedom Rock. He's been doing it his entire life. Literally, one of the rawest comic book pages I've ever seen is Hobie standing atop this bridge with a whole symbioted out police force, like police gear and shields and stuff. He just jumps down and riffs on his guitar, and it blasts all the symbiotes off him. That's so sick. Meanwhile, I get that Sonic Underground, from what I remember of Sonic Underground, he also is a freedom fighter, but it's a lot less realistic. It's Dr. Eggman's like a totalitarian dictatorship where he's roboticizing the entire world. So naturally, I'd imagine, because I mean this is a pretty hotbed topic, honestly. I'd imagine that Hobie's experiences can at least be translated into something more relatable. In terms of the people that they have connections to, Sonic has Sonia and Manic, I guess, but there are a lot of different people that Hobie can bring into this. There is the Spider Band, which is a very stupid name considering it's a group that consists of Captain America, the Hulk, Kamala Khan, and Riri, who is this universe Iron Man. I was upset in the Spider-Verse. There are a ton of musically inclined people like Gwen or Miles. You may argue, just from what you've seen in Across the Spider-Verse, that Hobie wouldn't be interested in making music for children. But Schoolhouse Rock is a pretty big and influential media outlet, and bro has made it a point in his story that he wants to teach people, especially children, like down with the establishment. Literally, his first we see on screen when he's with Mayday, like kids and anarchists love it. So I totally think he'd be down for something like this. Meanwhile, my real big point, I just don't think Sonic Underground music's that good. Like I think this is not the educational Sonic show. I went to re-listen to a lot of the Sonic Underground OST. A lot of it is very, very generic, like watered down message, like follow your heart. Most of it is just plot convenient music, but very little of it actually would apply to the message that they're trying to give. But yeah, Hobie's been doing it his entire life. Much more relatable story, more connections, and it just generally helps that there currently is an educational Spider-Man show going around. I'm not going to try and argue. I'm not going to try and say Sonic is irrelevant in the cultural zeitgeist, but Spider-Man is just everywhere. So I think, especially with Across the Spider-Verse, Hobie's more popular than he's ever going to be. So I think Hobie's just the right choice for Schoolhouse Rock.
I heard more connections and it activated my fight or flight.
Rivet, you fucking show with your Sonic Underground debate.
Okay, so I know that Sonic Underground sounds like a really bad uphill battle for me, but you'd be surprised. So, Sonic Underground is one fucking massive apocalypse that Sonic pretty much witnessed occur before his very eyes when he was little. Even witnessed his uncle get killed. I know, yeah, and Spider-Man know all about that. That's pretty similar, So if Hobie's going to talk about Uncle Ben, Sonic can talk about Uncle Chuck, and then they'll be even. Sonic showed to be musically inclined from being a baby. The dude could rock on a guitar from the day he was born, pretty much. Meanwhile, Hobie learned it like a dweeb, and learned it like a normal human being did, which is a bit cringe. Manic played the drums on his cereal bowl, dude. Okay, alright. I'll stop making serious points now. Sonic Underground usually does have pretty mediocre songs that don't teach the most specific of morals, but there are some. The one that stood out to me was Part of the Problem, which the moral of that one is weirdly something that I think Hobie would really jive with, and it's pretty much that if you just stand idly by and observe things go to shit, you're part of the problem. And you should actually take a stand and do the right thing instead of just waiting for someone else to do it. Or else, if everyone else shares that mindset, then nothing is going to change. Which I think is the very mindset that a freedom fighter needs to live by. They're the people taking a stand. They're the people really fighting for things to change for the better. And as I said, Sonic's world has gone to shit. Most of the population are robots now. It's very rare that you run into fucking anyone who isn't siding with Robotnik. and the dude is like on a constant lookout for his mother, who is hiding amongst the different worlds that are slowly being corrupted by Robotnik. Meaning he's seen many different cultures, met so many different people from all different walks of life. Hey, Sonic, Sonia, and Manic each represent a different cultural background of Sonic. You know, having a more novel, like normal everyday upbringing. Manic being raised by like homeless people.
Guy.
Yeah, the awesome snail guy who steals to stay alive, and then Sonia comes from a higher up snooty rich family. So Manic has experienced that sort of shit from the beginning, while Sonia knows what it's like to be brought down from the very top and have to go through a super fucking harsh world. So she arguably got the worst whiplash. And finally, this is how fucking deep I needed to dig to counter the very good point that Sonic Underground music is kind of ass. In the Archie Sonic comics, Sonic Underground is actually in it. It's a dimension called the Underground Dimension, and in that, Sonic, Manic, and Sonia actually do go on tour, go on an interdimensional concert tour around the entire multiverse, and every single universe fucking loves their music. So, I think that they get much better with time. And what characters know music better than Sonic characters? Sonic music, in like every case other than Sonic Underground, fucking slaps. So yeah, I don't think that Sonic Underground Sonic. I also think that he's like, he'd be so fucking down to do this. His plate is less full. Now that, like, because like in the Archie comic series, we see, like, as I said, he now has the time to go around on tour, so he's kind of won, presumably. So he probably has way more free time to do this. So yeah, I think that Underground Sonic isn't as screwed as one might think he would be.
Ruben, you the multiverse might just have shit taste.
You kind of actually turned me towards Sonic Underground.
I'll be honest. You did what Larry did with Remy, but actually successfully.
I had to try. I had to look at the Archie. I had to look at the Archie Sonic.
Archie comics is the exact same as the Spider-Man. It's also an interdimensional. Yeah. I just think like generally, Hobie has way more creatives at his side. Like whether it be just the Spider-Man or Miles and Gwen. They're pretty much the same. They're pretty much on even footing when it comes to interdimensional music. Yeah. But I just think like the experiences he has to pull from are way more relatable than like just Robotnik's dictatorship.
It's
fucking
relatable when you generalize it like that. But the way that Ollie boiled it down, it does. I feel like that could actually be generalized to a lot of kids' experiences.
I fucking flinched when you said Robotnik's dick.
I also do think that it's a fair point that, like, I would argue that in terms of like opposing the actual real world system of like oppression, Hobie would probably be like much more polarizing in terms of like getting those messages across than like Sonic Underground, because like Schoolhouse Rock is primarily meant to market to kids, and Sonic is already more of like a kids franchise, whereas Hobie is like actively like destroy the patriarchy and all of that stuff. I don't know if like Schoolhouse Rock would really want to bring that kind of like into their
they mention them staying on the charts. I think Hobie is definitely going to be the more divisive musician.
I would say that actually is a pretty good point if they have to be more like child friendly. But Schoolhouse Rock is not afraid of tackling more serious topics. There was one about American history where they were not afraid to delve into some of the darker things that happened in American history. I definitely think Hobie will have to water down some of his messages, but again, I mean, just his relationship with Mayday, I think he would be interested in teaching children.
Yeah, he would want to make a good like lesson for the kids.
That is true. I think like
both go for that though.
He's definitely self-aware enough. I think.
Mm-hmm. Because like no matter how he came off in Across the Spider-Verse, like kind of like I'm gonna do my own thing. He genuinely cared about Miles. He genuinely cared about Gwen.
He was absolutely. He was so based in Across the Spider-Verse.
But I really don't know here. They're both they both can do good. At
It
this.
would totally just work together and jam out and make it a bit.
Oh, 100.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is-
100%.
Yeah,
they'd be a
that's
band
what should
together.
happen.
Literally just experience in the modern zeitgeist that still has me on Hobie. I think he knows the right people to zhuzh up whatever he's doing.
As far as the people they know, the travels across the multiverse and such does mean that Underground Sonic is friends with the main Archie comic Sonic. Now, I am not too familiar with that version, but I wouldn't be surprised if he knew good musicians. It really wouldn't surprise me. There's got to be.
Mina's from the Archie comics.
Yeah, the classic Mina. There we go. Who's Mina?
She's an idol in the Archie comiix. I think I don't know what level she is.
Sonic for a while.
Oh wait, no, she's a
Yeah,
mongoose, right? Mina
Mina
mongoose.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go. All right. But yeah, that's if I'm being totally honest, as much as I was able to build up kind of a debate for Sonic Underground Sonic, I think some of the things holding him back are his voice is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
You came in with way more than I was expecting, honestly. I could play one clip of Sonya singing, and I think Hobie got.
That's the thing.
guess,
His voice is more annoying, and I think it's easier to water up your music than to water it down. Or sorry, vice versa. I think it's easier to water down your music than to water it up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I did find some underground songs, like Harmony as well is another solid pick for tackling a message that I think would be good to send to the public. But it's usually a lot more vague and way more few and far between, and requires a muse of plot relevance, whereas Hobie does the music on his own. He draws from his own experiences.
I think that's not as much of a disadvantage as you put it to be, though, because in terms of today's cultural zeitgeist and media landscape, people are way more sensitive to more stronger messages which is what Hobie would probably want to push. I know Schoolhouse Rock isn't afraid to put that stuff in their content, but would parents be more willing to support that? I mean, cultural sensitivity is way more of a thing on both sides of the political spectrum. And if this is taking place in our contemporary world, I could easily see more people seeing Spider-Punk as being oh, he's too woke for my kids. They're trying to culture
Well,
indoctrinate.
down to have both of them, which the scenario paints it as. Spider-Man as a franchise has never been afraid to tackle these serious topics, so I don't see it as an issue at all.
I think I would go Spider-Punk in this scenario.
In terms of real world influence, there are already people saying that Hobie and Across the Spider-Verse is too woke, and yet the response to it has still been so overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to be an
Not
issue.
even the too woke crowd hates Spider-Man.
I'm just trying to help out Ollie as much
No,
as I can.
I greatly appreciate it. No, I think that Sonic. When I first heard about this episode, I was like, "Oh, I'm so fucked." But by the end of it, I was like, "I think he'd do all right." But
You
probably
put
do
up a solid argument, but
Yeah.
I think Hobie just does better.
All right,
Cool.
that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a really good episode.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm back on my losing streak though.
I've gone
that-
from-
You were handed a broken controller.
Yeah,
Adam.
like
You
giving
can't
you
be
Sly
straight at
Cooper
it.
is just mean.
Well, actually, no. You were
won
handed
them all.
you were handed the broken controller with Sly. With Yoshi, you just fumbled that.
You broke the controller yourself.
Well, thanks for
I
watching,
went from
everybody.
undefeated to even win loss
Bye.
record. This is the worst day of my life. Bye.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Yeah,
See you later.
Bye.